Squash XLPRO is an elite team that work hard to train, play and run squash events on our journey to climb the world rankings. Like, subscribe, comment, pick up some of our merch on Teespring.
Well, that's a bit of a fortuitous start because it pretty much went right through the tin. There's certainly plenty of power in that particular shot there. TEMWA CHILESHE up against Elijah Thomas. And let's see what kind of entertainment we should get with this match. We had Temwa winning in a Marathon 5 battle yesterday. It was a false step there, but managed to recover quite nicely, Elijah, in the white. And just a quick turn. One of the great attributes of Elijah Thomas is he can turn incredibly quickly if he has to run back into the court. And so far, both players really keen to get on with the match. Taking their time playing through a lengthy rally. This, the third point. Nice touch. Very nice touch. Plenty of patience in that rally. I've only seen one forehand slap, as I'll call it, from Temwa so far. Very short swing that he has on the forehand and able to drive it through very quickly. We've only seen one of those so far, but then it is just the fourth point.
Shot.
And nice play. Taking the pace off it. Just managed to avoid that one. Coming straight at him like a rocket. And a little bit of body check.
Squeeze. Do you need a comment? Go.
Let's see what we can do with this with Temwa CHILESHE against Elijah Thomas. And the players having to be very resourceful here, whether it's on the court. Let's just check on the scoreline now. And it is 3-2 there to Temwa CHILESHE. Turning on the power on this one. Nice. That's good play. Took the pace off very well, had the right angle on the forehand, and Temwa CHILESHE not able to quite get there. So plenty of movement so far in this rally. In fact, to every corner all over the court. No one able to quite get up to dominate just yet. That's better. And that was, gee, I think we're all thinking that could have gone perhaps not the way it went in the end. Joel, it's been some good rallies so far, and we're still in the early stages. It's not easy for the officials either, let alone the players. Joel, great to have you, and gee, it's been a busy few days for you last week, hasn't it? I mean, I don't know how many matches you could play. We could count them up, but it's a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely feeling it.
Way to go! Yeah, I mean, how are you feeling right now, physically and mentally?
To put it mildly, absolutely knackered.
Yeah, okay. Knackered's probably a good word.
Just drained, I think is the best word for it.
But it's not always physical. It's quite often just the mental.
I think for my muscles, obviously there's a lot of knots there, but just drained, just the adrenaline.
Yeah.
Had a lot of adrenaline last week. Been waiting all year for that tournament, so really struggled this week.
And what have you got on next week? Do you have a little bit of a rest?
Yeah, I think probably at least 4 or 5 12-hour sleeps.
That's lengthy, but it's good for you.
Yeah, I'm not the best sleeper. I mean, on tournament days, I can hardly eat and hardly sleep. I think I had 4.5 hours sleep last Sunday before my playoff match. So that's just starting to catch up with me now. But clearly these two lads had better sleeps than me. Already a bit of not contact, but there's some calls coming in. Always easy to see. Well, good to see like both the boys. They're fighting for it. They're chomping at the bit. They're still hungry.
Well, there are still a few satellite points up for grabs and some prize money as well. It's certainly worthy, and plus, no one likes to lose.
Yeah.
And you guys all know each other so well.
Yeah, I think Elijah's playing pretty good this week.
Good teams.
I know I knocked him out second round last week, which he wasn't happy with, so I think it's good that he's tried to bounce back and played his way through that Nationals last week.
Well, we are getting a few comments coming through on the feed, and one particular one, does Elijah have any other clothes aside from white? That one, Scott, we can't comment on him. We'll have to ask him one time. But nice that you're watching, and I hope you're entertained by this very good squash so far. I love the hesitation on the shot, just that little bit of extra time. Put a little bit of indecision on his opponents there from Temwa. Oh.
I think some dodgy calls going on here. I don't see anything wrong with Elijah's pickup so far, so it's disappointing, and I want to see those rallies being played out.
Yes.
And I'm sure the viewers do as well, so that's very irritating.
Well, anybody watching, feel free to air your views in a polite manner. We're quite happy to have those coming through, and we can discuss them.
Both these boys usually call their pickups.
Yeah.
No reason not to.
Shot. That's a much better shot.
10-3 though, for the chocolate panda, as we call him. 7-game bulls. Looking very chocolatey out there today in his all-black kit.
Very sharp.
All black and all white, actually, isn't it, from these two?
It is.
Oh, yeah. Great length. Well played.
Just in that forehand corner, probably fading away a little bit more than the backhand corner, would you say, Joel?
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I've hit more winners on the forehand, I found, this week than the backhand, for whatever reason. And Temwa, we know he loves that forehand, so taking full advantage, as we see in that last point.
All right, we'll come back with the second game very shortly. Feel free to comment with your reffing from afar, and you can give us your opinions as well. Well, the first game going to Temwa Chileshe, a couple of calls that could have gone either way, Joel, and or maybe just could have carried on playing. That's a bit of shot. That's the advantage there of the back wall.
As a squash purist, I do like to see the rallies played out, especially when you got the, retrieving abilities of these two.
Yeah.
It's great to watch, and very irritating when the rallies get stopped early. But Elijah's out to a quick lead. Needs a response after that last set, 11-3.
I mean, he doesn't usually. Well, he certainly doesn't give up. That's for sure.
No.
In fact, in your second round clash against Elijah at the Nationals, the scoreline was probably surprising. Not so much the match, but the scoreline appeared to be easier than what it was. Was that be correct?
Yeah.
I mean, it's never easy against him, is it?
No, it's never a rollover. Speaking of rollovers, I think if we look at the replay there, just getting his foot caught on Elijah.
I don't know if it's a replay. I think my computer's actually slow. Yeah, just did they tangle feet there, or just a little bit tight? Seems to be okay.
New Zealand squash?
Yeah, I think with the flippers that Temwa's got, I think he's size 14.
Oh gosh,
probably should have been a swimmer, but
exactly.
it's not easy to miss his feet.
Well, it's just one of those things when you have a little bit of heavy traffic down the middle, and very easy.
Yeah, both these guys like to volley a lot,
Yeah.
But no, the score lines these days, we see it in the top level as well. It can be 3-love, but it can be 60 minutes plus sometimes. So that match with Elijah last week wasn't a great reflection of the toughness of that match.
Well, just every now and then you do get unusual scorelines, like Evan Paul Cole winning their last two games against Fares this morning.
Yeah, I saw that. 11-love, 11-love.
Yeah, I mean, you never know with Fares because he can be hot and cold.
Oh yeah. I remember him having a bit of a dust up in the quarterfinals in Worlds, like 2016 against Rami Shaw, and I think he almost cried on court. It's just, don't know where it came from. That's a textbook shot there for Temz, though, that one. Loves a low kill. I find this tin, don't know if it's me, but I feel as though that tin is possibly 25 inches. Now I am biased because I clipped it a lot today,
yeah,
but
you did have a couple there.
I do feel that tin is a little bit high. Unpopular opinion, but I have heard from a few lads that tin is just a couple inches too high.
Well, it is funny though. You do notice that in sports, that whether it's a net in badminton or tennis, people know that if it's just that little bit high or in the tin.
I mean, I play a lot of squash, obviously.
Yeah, you should.
And played on a lot of courts now in this country and others, but sometimes I can always, just slightly, even if it's a little bit, you can kind of tell.
Yeah. But it's not going to be adjusted too often here, is it?
No, I think that tin is permanent. I know they put that new logo on.
Yeah, it does look good.
Which looks great. I actually remember 2 weeks ago at the PSA Satellite, me and Luamba had a practice hit in the morning of our match, and the tin was actually 13 inches during our training session. And I said to Louis, there's no way.
Is that even off the ground?
I said, there's no way that is 17 inches. And he said, yes, it is. We had a huge argument. Turns out, sure enough, it was international doubles height, which is 13 inches.
Right.
Which, if you've ever played on it, it's like impossible to hit the tin.
Yeah, well,
practically impossible. So I was thinking my short game is good, but it's not that good, you know.
So over the past 3 weeks, you played at 3 different clubs, is that right? Panmure, then North Shore, and now here at Henderson.
Plus training in Hamilton as well, in between. So being all around the shop, which is a good thing. It's good.
Nice variety.
Outside the comfort zone. But it's certainly a good contrast. So Temz has brought it back here.
Particular venue that was so much quicker than the other?
You know, those Panmure courts, for anyone that was watching that, they have glass front walls. And that's it. So it's not like there's glass sidewalls or anything like that. It's just glass front wall. So they play very, not different, but it's just, it throws you off a bit. It's tough to get used to. So if you don't ever practice it on that court, that could be very difficult. But I like them quite a lot because they seem to play very true. You know, there's not grooves on them, they're just panels, so you know they're going to hit the same no matter what. So I really like those courts.
Well, so far here in the second game, it's been relatively point. And
yeah, Temwa's brought back that lead that Elijah had, 3-love, which is good. 5-all or 6-5
a little bit of
now.
perspiration coming on Temwa there.
Yeah, a bit sweatier than his brother. The Wamba essentially never sweats.
Keeps his cool.
Mainly because he never gets tired, but
although there was a little bit of fatigue there.
Yeah.
You could see it in the Wamba today at times.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of fatigue. I'm sure the final last week.
You can just imagine how I felt though, you know, on the other side. But they did have a big 5-sitter yesterday, those two,
Yes.
Temwa and Louis.
I mean, if you look at the 4 of you here, you must have liked last week where you got to play other people.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
you know Elijah's game, you know Temz, you know the Wamba's game. Sometimes you just need to get a fresh perspective, a fresh player to play against.
Yeah, there was a couple, just in saying that, there was a couple, not weird ones, but a couple wild cards in the draw last week, wasn't there? And there always is at Nationals. They always turn out of the woodwork. Everyone turns up, you know. All those A-graders that you never see.
But when you play against someone like Zach Miller or Wills Donnelly upped his game, and
yeah, I found that really tough playing Zach. 'Cause I've never actually played him before until that match.
and slightly unorthodox.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Which definitely played a big role in how I played the next day.
Yes.
But it is good opportunity. Is that a stroke? That's tough.
And
Elijah's been on the receiving end here a little bit, hasn't he?
In the first game in particular, I think
Yeah.
there was 2 or 3, and now this particular,
That's really tough.
and on my delayed computer, we may actually see it very shortly.
Was a stroke at the first point, not another black ball. Earlier, possibly another black ball.
So unfortunate there for Elijah.
There's that old kind of unwritten rule in squash, or maybe it is a written rule, but if someone turns on the ball, it's just a let. So they're kind of grinding that out a little bit nowadays, but I felt like that one was definitely just a let. So there you go, and you see now, that's much more of a stroke than the one before.
Right.
Karma, yes. Justice maybe for Elijah.
I mean, the other thing is that with the speed that Elijah moves, he's getting out of the way pretty quickly. He's usually moving out of the way, so there shouldn't be, well, unless he just moves into it, there shouldn't be too many times he's going to have a stroke against him. But maybe that occasion, earlier. Well, we have some coaching advice coming in from Mickey that Elijah needs to use more height to get to the ball. Because Temwa's just volleying and controlling the middle of the court. I don't know if you agree with that.
So a couple of calls coming into it.
Yeah.
I feel like the court's opening up a little bit as well. Both the boys wanting to take that ball in short.
Well, key here, Joel, will be to really keep your composure in these next few points, whether the call's going for or against you.
Yeah, it's that tipping point kind of a match around 6-all, 7-all. Anything can kind of happen. And what Temwa doesn't want is to get involved in some kind of counter game. And definitely not a let fest, as we would say. But that one's coming off from.
That was a nice punch away there from Temwa. Just able to, not much of a swing, but more of a punch.
That's the better attack. You know, he's got Elijah on the back foot, reaching behind before he puts the ball away, instead of forcing those counter games around the middle. But touche though, great shot from Elijah. Don't see him play that too often.
He had the ball so far in front of him that he was able to pick his direction.
That's
where he
great.
wanted to go.
That's what he's good at. He's good at stepping across first. You know, first lunge straight across, putting the ball away. And that's a bit of a gift. Bit of an early Christmas present there. Those are the ones that you cannot afford.
Nice little comeback of sorts, and as we say that in error, and that's a drop in the crowd.
10 press up, surely.
So a strange kind of end. It was about 7-6, a few long rallies, now a few errors, and now 10-9. This is crucial though for Elijah. He wants to pinch this set.
And you agreeing with that, Joel?
That was 100% stroke.
I think that ball just came back too far, and I think the line was through Elijah. I know he loves that shot and he plays it well, but that one, I think, sitting too far back and not really providing a line for Temwa. And he did read it too. He read it like a book, didn't he?
All right, well, there we go. That is game 2 to Temwa Chileshe over Elijah Thomas. And certainly been a lot of calls. That's a good question in the nicest possible way. We'll be back with game 3 in just a moment. We're coming back now for the third game of this, the final at Henderson. And it's been entertaining. I don't think Elijah will be overly happy with things. And you can let shots or decisions get to you, or you can just work it through. Yes, that. Yes. And Joel, I guess the key focus is for Elijah and for Tem is to really just switch to their own game.
Yeah, back to business, I think, for Elijah. It's tough, but you got to problem solve and park these things in the squash court. It's a battle against himself, I feel, for him out there. We know he's capable. We saw it in that last set. And he has beaten Temwa actually the last 3 times they played. So perhaps he's putting that pressure on himself. So when he's not executing, he feels that pressure more than he should. So he just has to reset, focus on his targets, and just park those things that are going on regardless, you know.
Well, the thing is that Elijah is the youngest out of the group of you. He's 17, just I think turning 18 this month. And you've got to remember that a little bit of age does make a bit of difference.
Yeah. Experience, you can't underestimate experience. It's more of just being comfortable in those scenarios. I know he's played probably more squash than I have in my time, through juniors or whatever, but you definitely, you can't fault the experience.
Well, you also can't put, nice play, you can't put too much pressure on yourself.
No.
You know, it's...
Let's go, Temz!
I mean, it's annoying when you lose.
Of course. I mean, the way I look at it is you have to be quite objective when you're an athlete, especially as a squash player, because it's so hard to measure things. You can't really measure how you're getting tighter or how you're getting a better drop shot, you know. There's no way of measuring that kind of stuff, so you have to...
Oh, that's a better shot.
You have to be mentally strong, but that's better from Elijah.
That's a really good shot.
And you see him signalling as well, he knows.
Well, one thing that perhaps Elijah needs to realise is, you know, maybe take that age and experience thing into his thoughts. He's also grown quite a lot in the last year as well. If you compare him to last year, he's quite a bit taller.
A little bit more muscle on the frame as well.
Yeah. So he's got to work his way into that.
Yeah. You know, he has quite an... We have what we call in sports and fitness training age.
Yes.
And his training age is very old for for his age.
Right.
Hence why he's such a good junior, obviously, training so long and hard for his age.
Well, New Zealand sportsmen, for a lot of sports, usually 23 or 27 for racket sports. It tends to be that, whether it's tennis or squash, it takes around about 23 as the first hit, the first time that players start to really make an impact, and then usually around about 27 as well. You can see Paul Cole just turned 28.
Perfect example, yeah. Paul really didn't. I think he broke the top 50 when he was 23 as well.
Yeah.
Which is no mean feat.
So it's about putting expectations on yourself, whether it's a physical or mental state.
Yeah, you can't let that control you though.
No.
You know, doubt is just inevitable. But you have to have a plan these days. So still quite open squash though from these two. Not a lot of channel work. I feel as though that ball's kind of dropped off a little bit as well. Doesn't seem to have that
spongy
ping.
when you played? How was it?
I thought it was relatively okay. Like, it wasn't too spongy, but I feel like this ball's just died off a lot compared to.
It's during the women's final. It really did look quite spongy.
Yeah. I find different courts to absorb the ball kind of faster, if that's the right word.
It's a nice shot.
That's better again.
Well, Elijah really let the ball drop a little bit more, and just to, I guess, give himself the time to put a little bit of indecision there. And Temz
Yeah, let Temwa settle and then punch it past him. Those are really the kind of movements you want to be forcing Temwa to do after such a big match yesterday. You want to hold, you want to chop and change his movement.
They're just figuring out where they are.
Just clipped him a little bit on this backswing.
You're one of the players who can keep the score when you're on court, but some other players seem to almost lose the score and get so embraced and so into the point. But you're one of those players that keeps the score right in your head, don't you?
I honestly, I don't usually forget the score. If I am asking, I'm tired. I'm asking because I want an extra 5 seconds, because that 5 seconds means the world at that point in time. But we all have our moments.
Yeah.
Good reaction volley there from Temwa. Actually kind of Louis-like. You know, his brother plays that shot really well, that reaction volley on the backhand. So it's good to see that creeping in.
It was good positioning. He was in the right position the whole way through that point.
It's poor width too. It's punishing poor width, which better players do very well, obviously pushing up the court, closing it down, hunting those volleys.
It's good depth.
Nice lift.
Looking up here. It's a good play there from Temwa in the end, and Elijah just a little bit frustrated with himself.
So a little 2-point cushion, 6-4. I think the crowd wants to see Elijah really dig into Temwa here.
He's working on it, but Temwa's
Temwa's
cutting down the errors.
He's staying professional and making himself very hard to beat. And you can see that pressure mounting on Elijah.
I mean, that was a nice return down the forehand side. It was a very powerful forehand from Elijah, but in the end, Tim.
It's the dividends from that hustling.
Yeah.
Dividends from those calves, if you will.
They're big calves.
Not small.
So has Tim got the bigger feet than Louis?
That's a good question. I think he edges him by like one size. One of them's 14, one of them's 13.
Gee.
Ridiculous.
It's a family of flippers.
Absolutely huge feet. Very annoying when you're playing them if if you're caught volleying too much, you'll know about it because you won't be able to push off of that back leg. It'll be stuck underneath theirs.
Oh.
Again, if that was a 17-inch tin, that's a tough movement to make.
Right. Let's see if Elijah Thomas, still a teenager, can come back, and he does come back after.
Don't think the 17-inch tin would have made a difference on that one. Bottom of the tin.
That was a big
from Temwa.
slap at the ball, that one.
He's got to keep his head here. When you've got that slight lead, you've got to be able to close the court down even more and mount that pressure on top of that sort of scoreboard pressure you've already created.
Let's see what he can do here, Elijah, because the last thing Tim wants to do is actually...
So he's brought it back to 7-all.
Yeah, because this is
and
a
then
vital point. What's the call?
A very crucial point. No let. Calls a no let.
Wrong one, it's going to the front.
But he just has to keep his mind on the business here because he's brought that lead back.
To me, 7-all is probably the point in each game.
But you can't. It's an unspoken thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just it's just there. It's something about it. So
you get up 8-7. You've got 3 more to go. You may only be up by 1 point, but it just makes you feel that bit more confident.
Yeah. And it's recognising that stuff as well. Great reaction volley.
Yeah. Right off his body.
So Elijah had that that momentum, and he's just kind of lost it. I feel after that argument, brought it back to from 7-3 or 7-4 to 7-all, and he's just given a little gift onto Temwa's racket there. So he needs a quick response here before the game runs away from him. Again, forcing it from Temwa though.
Yes.
That's twice he's played that. And he has to take note of that, Elijah. He has to notice those things. This set is a very mentally challenging set, I feel, for both of them.
Oh, that's a good play. Oh.
He's got it. Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been spectacular if he had got it on the smash and on that volley, but that was tough. That was a great play from Temwa there up close to the wall.
Yeah, extremely far up in the court that was.
So it is match ball.
Right shot.
I mean, it was worth a shot on that.
Definitely. It was on his racket, but
it's usually been a winner for him.
I think he just let it come to him a little bit too much there, as opposed to stepping forward like he has been. Still one more opportunity, though.
He still has a game point, match point.
Will he go for it if it's there? Oh. It's tight.
Well, both of you, someone's going to need to pick up a racket to win this. But in fact, it has been won. And in the end, a little disappointing to finish that way.
Yeah.
Whether or not the call was correct, it doesn't matter.
I mean, it was a tight shot. Came back on himself there, though. I think stroke was the only call.
Yeah.